very quick one today. We're back in the shop. You can see I've been making a few shoes for the week and a few heart trivets for the wife. Place is a mess. Still can't make up my mind what to do with this head. I really can't. It's been sat here for weeks just thinking about it. And in the meantime, another load of components has turned up to make some more. But I've been ill, and a friend of mine's injured, and so I'm doing some of his work and catching up on my own work, and I just haven't had time. But anyway, today's job, a bit of cast iron. This is off a cooker of some description, and this bit's broken off. Now someone's tried to glue this, so that could give me some problems in welding it back up. But we're going to have a go, see what happens. It's nice cast iron by the looks of things. It's not that enamelled stuff, so we shouldn't have too many problems. We'll use the Minarc and some Oerlikon Cytocasts. Now these can be used on AC or DC negative polarity, and they have a, what does it say there? Easy striking, good running properties with low spatter loss, produces a weld metal of high ductility. This feature permits the repair of certain castings without preheating. Well, that's what we're going to do. I've used these a lot and they're really good rods. Only trouble is they're a little bit big for my welder. They're a 5mm rod, which is like 332. But we're going to give it a go because they do run really well with this little set. I'm just going to put a bevel on all the edges. Now you can see there's very few sparks come off cast iron. That's how, one of the reasons you can tell it's cast iron. If you can see there, I've just put a bevel all the way around. Just left the very centre where it touches. I'm going to try and do the same on here. Yeah, that's how you can tell it's cast iron when you grind it, and if you drill it, you don't get sort of swarf off it. You just get like a dust comes out, like it's like powder when you drill it. Now this stuff I think is what they call grey cast. There's dozens of different types of cast. If you really want to know, Google it, because there is such a lot to learn about or to know about cast iron. But it's really good stuff. It's used highly in industry for all sorts of things. But it can be a pig to weld. But as this is just one piece going on, there's not really going to be that many stresses, so I'm going to give it a go without preheat. I'm just trying to get it level on the bench where it doesn't rock. I'll get it set up. I'm going to put my welder's third hands to good use today, I think. Try and just hold it in place while I get a tack on it. And so these rods should be run at about, I don't know, 140 amps, but my welder only, oh I don't know, oh actually I think it might go up to 140. So I think I'm going to have it flat chat. But they work. They're a good little rod. Let's see if we can get a tack on here. That's got it. And when it's difficult doing these little tiddly jobs with this, with these rods, but if you're on a big job, they really run well, and they are almost silent. You can hardly hear them once they're running properly. Really good little rod. Now that is stuck on there. That's obviously arced through there rather than through the bench, so I'm going to have to get a better earth on there. But that's got it. Just enough for me to get another few tacks on it. I'm going to leave it not a long time in between each tack, but I'm not going to rush to get the next tack on it. I'm going to let it cool a little bit, because the one thing that will crack a bit of cast iron is too much heat in one place, that is, as from welding. Just going to take a little bit of the surface off here so I can get a better earth on there, return as some people like to call it. Yeah, cast iron is really weird stuff. The French cast iron is quite good usually, but you can get some real crap stuff. You start welding one little spot and you hear it You can hear it's like glass breaking in slow motion, cracking all over the place. But so as this is one little bit stuck on the end, it can move around on its own as it wants, so I'm not too worried about any sort of cracking. Get a decent tack on there. It's actually blowing it away a bit there. Might have to turn it down a bit. I'm on flat stick 140, but I don't think I need it. Anyway, that's got it there. Yeah, as I say, there's dozens of different types of cast iron. It has a high carbon content, and quite a high silicon content as well in a lot of cast irons. But it has really good wear resistance, and it's very resistant to rusting, which is one of the reasons they use it in industry quite a lot, for its wear and anti-corrosion properties. So I'm just going to again let this not really cool off, but I'm not rushing. Set it up in the vise, so we're on the flat. A nice little bead across there. Now, it stinks. This that smoke that's coming off it, I think, is the impurities coming out of it. Now, I've given it a quick wire brush up, and there is a little hole in there, but I'm not going to worry too much. In fact, I think there's 2 holes in there. There, one there. Get some muck off the end of my pointer, and one there, and one there. So I'm not going to worry too much for this particular job, and I think it's possibly either the glue that they tried to stick it with, or the fats and greases and bacon fat and all sorts that's coming out of it. Because again, that's another thing with cast iron. It's quite porous and it soaks up all sorts of stuff, and over the years, with this being on a cooker, it's probably had splashes and all sorts of grease and muck on it. And although it's perfectly clean, it's not greasy, it's not sticky, it's been thoroughly washed. The impurities are in there from the whatever. I think that's possibly my problem. There's another big hole there, which I shall try and just blow in. So I'm not too worried on this particular job. If this was a piece of machinery that's got to take some stresses, I'd probably grind all that out and start again. But as it's just to hold a pan on top of a cooker, I'm not going to worry too much, because this really doesn't justify or doesn't warrant it. It's a nothing job. I can't really hardly charge for it. It's just it's doing someone a favour, really. I opened my big mouth when someone said, "Can you weld cast iron?" I should have said no when I realised what it was. But there you go, it's doing someone a turn. They were quoted an awful lot of money, I think, to replace this piece. I think in the hundreds. But you know, what can you charge for one little weld? Not an awful lot. But anyway, hopefully it'll do them a turn, as I say. Now all I'm going to bit of clean up is on the top there where the pans sit. There's a bit of a lump. So I'm just going to put a little touch with the grinder on there. Just take that off. And that'll do. Just smooth the top off there. And leave the rest of it. Give it a bit of strength. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean up. Wire brush. And then that'll do it. By the time that's back on the cooker, you can see there now the 2 little holes. But I ain't worried about them. Not on this job. By the time that's back on the cooker, if they put that towards the back, you'll never notice. There's another one there, quite a big one that side. Again, I ain't worried. It's got it, it's stuck it back together. It should do them a turn. Hopefully they'll be able to have many more meals cooked on it. So there you go. Quick look at some cast iron welding without preheat. And it actually went very well. Thanks for watching. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one.